People love Krakow, and now I know why. This was once the capital of Poland, and today it still retains the medieval charm from its glory days. The old town is surrounded by a green park, separating it from the modern urban sprawl and maintaining the fortified city's charm. A castle looms over the old town, and a market square centers the city and gives it an open feel. A 13th century gothic cathedral rings out over the city every hour and gives you a real glimpse into what life was like hundreds of years ago. Not far from this colorful city, you can tour Auschwitz, the main site of humanity's worst genocide, and pay respects to those who were killed. History is rich in Krakow, so let me show you my time there. Good morning, guys, and welcome to Krakow, Poland. I just did another overnight bus from Serbia and finally made it to Poland. This was the original destination for my trip the whole time, but it took me about a week to finally get to Poland. But now that I'm here, very excited. Just looking at a map of Krakow gets me super excited because there's this like green area that kind of surrounds this quaint little old town. And so it's like a very contained kind of old district with these kind of winding cobblestone streets. And then there's this main market square right in the middle where there's a big church and old market stall. And so yeah, let's start by checking out the main market square. So right in the middle of the main square here is the Krakow Cloth Hall, which used to be a place of international trade and business, and there'd be a lot of exotic goods exchanged here from throughout the world, like from Far East spices and then textiles, salts, right here. And the golden age of the cloth hall was in the 15th century. And today there's a museum on the second floor, but on the bottom floor you'll find a lot of like good souvenirs, and still kind of has like a market feel to it, but a little bit more touristy. So right next to the cloth hall, another prominent feature here in the main market square is the old town hall clock tower, and you can actually go up it and get a nice view of the city. Alright, it's just 18 zloty, so that's like about $3 to go up the tower, so let's do it. Made it to the top of the tower here, and there's some beautiful views looking in each direction. Unfortunately, you can't go outside, so you're kind of like shooting through the windows here, but it's still a very nice view looking back down onto the church across the way and then down on the market square. And there's some nice like stained glass, the one story beneath the top. That's really cool. On to the other side of the cloth hall to check out St. Mary's Basilica. It's also a 13th century building and one of the original pieces of the old town of Krakow. It has very unique, beautiful spires on the top, and you'll hear the clock tower every hour. And then there's also a trumpet that plays, and then it cuts off halfway through playing. And that signifies a legend back in the 13th century about a trumpet player that got shot in the throat while playing mid-note while trying to warn of an impending army attack. Alright, it looks like the church is open, so let's go inside and see what it looks like. Alright, so the main entrance to St. Mary's Basilica is for prayer and worship only, but if you come around to the right side, there's a visitor's entrance, and it's 15 zloty or $3 to enter the church. So let's go inside and check it out. That was incredible. It was such a massive church, and there was so much detail everywhere. Every square inch was painted. The ceiling was sky blue. There was a lot of gold. And what amazes me about these old European cathedrals is how much handwork went into every piece of art in that whole place. Like, it's just covered. I was in there for probably half an hour, and still there was so much more I probably could have seen. Very beautiful, definitely worth checking out that massive Gothic cathedral. So right behind the cathedral, there's this open air market here, and there's some really good smelling food. So I think I'm ready to try some of my first Polish food, which I'm super excited about. So let's go get some. Alright, so I got the pierogies, which are these dumplings, which are so good. I got one that's stuffed with potato and one that's stuffed with meat. It's so cozy. These winding, like, old town streets are so picturesque with the cobblestone and just like the gentle curve, and it seems like every turn I take there's just like this beautiful view, and then beautiful colors to a lot of the buildings, these nice pastels, but then you get a nice bright pop color every once in a while. It's just a really fun old town to walk around and photograph. So surrounding all of Old Town is this nice, like, green park area that kind of distinguishes the old medieval buildings from a more modern Krakow, where there's a little bit more busy traffic and buses and everything. So it keeps the Old Town nice and quiet. It's just a nice little park to walk around. So just on the northern part of the Old Town, there's a little bit of the remaining wall that used to surround the whole fortified city, and then that green park used to be a moat of water that kind of protected the city. So it's pretty cool. Alright, I wanted to get a midday coffee here, and I saw this book coffee shop here, so I'm gonna go check it out. Alright, that ended up being like a Harry Potter kind of wizarding cafe, and it had like this cool dungeon. It was very dark down there, but it was a very cool cafe. Alright, so just across the street is the Cathedral of St. Peter and St. Paul. And it has this beautiful white and gold accented interior, but then there's these crypts underneath the church, so you can go down there and check out some tombs from some of the past priests here, which is kind of creepy, but kind of cool to go in those tunnels under the church. So this afternoon I'm heading to the southern part of Old Town to check out Wawwell Castle. just made it to the top of the hill here where the castle is, and there's just these beautiful views looking out over the river, and then the road will take us into the fortified city this way. Alright, so Wawwell Castle has some stones up here dating back to 1000 AD, and for a while Krakow was the capital of Poland, and so this was the house of the president, and there's a lot of important old churches up here, and Wawwell Castle was declared the first UNESCO World Heritage Site in the 70s. So it's pretty cool being up on this like fortified hill, and it's almost like its own little city up here with a lot of churches, cafes, art museums and stuff. So in the middle of the castle here, there's this big open courtyard with these beautiful arched doorways. It's a very like regal looking place. So that's basically Wawwell Castle up here, but it's really cool. You're up above the whole city. You can look back and see Krakow. You can basically just walk around a lot of the buildings, see the outside for free. There's a lot of museums, cost extra, so you can pay extra for those. It seems like there's a lot you could do up here, but I'm just here for the architecture, which was beautiful. Alright, so I just found my new fall drink obsession. There's this place called Wisniewski, and that's this like mulled cherry liquor, and it was so good. It was like nice and sweet and warm. The like sitting bar area is so cool with this like awesome neon ceiling. So really cool display. Definitely check that out if you're here in the fall or winter. It's super cozy vibes. So that's about it for my first day here in Krakow. I explored most of the old town. It's pretty explorable within a day to see most of the sites, but outside of Krakow you can get to Auschwitz, so I'm going to do that one of these days, and then I might just explore a little bit more outside the old town. So we'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, guys. I'm about to jump on a tour bus to go to see Auschwitz, one of the most well-known concentration camps around here. Can't say I'm excited, but I look forward to going and know that it'll be a life-changing experience. And it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours from Krakow. Then once I'm there, I want to videotape a lot of things, but I don't think I'll really talk to the camera that much to respect other people's experience there. And I'll touch base with you once I get back from Auschwitz. Alright, just finishing up our tour here at Birkenau, Auschwitz II, and yeah, it's just amazing how horrible the human suffering was here. It's hard to put words to it, and it's really something you just have to be here to experience, to feel the pain, the suffering. And what just blew me away was just how little people knew. Like, So many people thought they were coming to just a different place to live or to a work camp or something. Just so much deception, and how even within the camps here, they didn't know what was happening just on the other side of camp. So yeah, heading back to Krakow now. Just gotten back to Krakow from the Auschwitz tour, and on the bus drive back I was just thinking, one thing that kind of took away from that, it puts life into perspective seeing horrible things like that, and I think that's the important thing about history and keeping the heritage of Auschwitz alive, so that it can teach future generations to love one another. Alright, so now I'm just going to walk down to the Jewish quarter, which is just south of the old town. Just a few minutes south of the old town is Mirrorless, which is the old Jewish quarter where the Jewish community settled. So there's a few synagogues around here, but now it seems to be this very hip happening, lots of cool cafes, boutique shops, a cool place to just walk around. And then there's this nice central area that has some open air food stalls. So it's a good place to get some cheap street food, and it has a lot of different cultural foods there. Kind of more artsy, bohemian part of town now, but again, has some Jewish roots and history. That just about wraps up my time here in Krakow. Tomorrow morning I'm going to pack everything up, head to the train station, and I'm going to Zakopane, which is up in the Tatra mountains. So I'll see you in Zakopane.